STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Preparing for the Future. And the reason why you can be preparing for your future or someone else's is because the moon today is in the sign of the future, Aquarius, which is wonderful, because Aquarius rules things ahead of their time, and it rules the whole field of electronics and computers and aviation. It rules music because that goes through the air, and Aquarius is an air sign, and it also rules invention. And so Aquarians are intrigued by a lot of different things, and they are a sign that has a lot of vision. Perhaps they don't understand where their vision is going to lead them, but they don't mind finding out. And also, since it is the sign of the inventor, they like to sort of tinker with things to see how that's going to come out as well. The reason why the emphasis can be on preparing for your future, though, is because that moon in Aquarius is being beautifully trined by both the Sun and Mercury, the planet of the mind and communication, which are in Libra. So there are 3 planets in air signs right now trining each other. And they also trine the sign of Gemini. Mercury is Gemini's ruler, so it's very strongly placed in trine to the sign it rules. And Gemini does rule change, and it rules temporary or short-term projects or temporary work, or it can rule anything that is part-time, or since it's the sign of the twins, and that rules duality, it can simply mean that there may be an opportunity for you to plan for your future by taking on an extra part-time project, or by doing something on a temporary basis that can really help you out and make your future even better. And so this is a time when it is very, very important if you're thinking in terms of a partnership, because remember, the Sun and Mercury are in Libra, which rules partnership and the law. If you're thinking in those terms, you're going to have to be very careful in your planning for the future. And the reason why you're going to have to be so careful is that you do not want to make a false assumption about something. In other words, you should try to get all of the facts if you can first. And the reason why the facts are emphasized is because right behind the Sun and Mercury in Libra are 3 planets which are all powerfully conjuncting each other, and that is Venus, which is conjuncting Jupiter. That's a marriage tie when those 2 planets get together. And then Jupiter is conjuncting Mars, and they're all in Virgo, the sign of analysis. Virgo is a mental sign, and it rules good problem solving, details, facts, being of service to others. It rules occupations like nursing and teaching, and it certainly rules accounting and accountability. And Virgo is ruled by the number 9, which is the highest of all the single digits, and so it has a lot to do with finishing things. So something in your life might have to sort of wind up or be finished as you are contemplating a possible partnership, whether it is a marriage or whether it is some sort of a legal partnership that has to do with a business or some sort of deal, is entirely possible right now as long as you have all the facts. And that can help you prepare for your future. And that is because the lights are trining each other, the Sun and the Moon. And that simply means that a lot of people can come up with some pretty good ideas right now, which is great. And that is why communication is key. You really have to understand the facts before you can communicate them. And so if you can't communicate clearly, then stop and organize your thoughts a little bit better, because that is going to be how you establish clear future plans. Why is that so important? Because this is a make it or break it time. And the reason why it's a make it or break it time is because there are 2 T-crosses among the planets right now. There is one in the cardinal signs where there are 4 planets all squaring and opposing each other harshly. And then there is a second T-cross in the mutable signs where there are 5 planets all squaring and opposing each other. So that means it's make it or break it time. And that is because that Sun and Mercury in Libra are being powerfully squared by Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto is also squaring Uranus in Aries. And Uranus is opposing the Sun and Mercury in Libra. So that's one T-cross. The second T-cross involves 5 planets. The Venus, Jupiter, and Mars in Virgo are all being harshly squared by Saturn in Sagittarius. So that means Saturn is squaring Mars. That is not a good aspect. That is even a dangerous aspect. And Saturn is also squaring Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is opposing Venus, Jupiter, and Mars in Virgo. So those 5 planets, even though they're among mutable signs, which are usually very adaptable, they are not seeing eye to eye. What could be the outcome of that? Well, I think that the pivot involves Pluto in Capricorn, and that is because that planet is so strongly fortified right now by the 3 planets in Virgo, and that is Venus is trining Pluto, so is Jupiter, and so is Mars. When Mars and Pluto trine each other, and they are the rulers of Scorpio, that means that there can be some financing around or extra money, but it probably would be for the people who really know their facts or their details, or they're really clear on how they communicate them as well. So that's why it can be a make it or break it time, because 1, not everyone is seeing eye to eye, but 2, the people who can communicate really clearly right now probably have an edge over everybody else. So does that mean that love wins out after all? I don't really think so right now. And the reason why love can certainly be on our minds, either a love for a person or love for something that we do that we're very fond of, is because Libra rules love, and remember the Sun and Mercury are there, and they're being beautifully trined by the Moon in Aquarius. But I don't think that love really wins out right now, and the reason why is that practical necessity, as depicted by the 4 planets in Earth signs that are all trining each other, which is a very good aspect, that practical necessity is going to dictate the terms of some sort of deal or partnership right now. In other words, you have to survive before you can even be in love. So, I mean, there's got to be food on the table, and there has to be a way to make a living and provide well for others. That has to take precedence over everything right now. And so I think that there can be a way for us to form partnerships that can possibly solve some of our problems right now. So no, not everyone's going to be happy. And with Pluto in Capricorn being trined by the planets in Virgo, it simply means that a power play is going to succeed right now. Somebody in a position of power is going to succeed. They will dictate the terms on some sort of policy, or they will decide what is best in the long run for an organization or a government agency, and so they could be rather strict about that, and that is why underneath it all, practical necessity is going to dictate the terms for success right now, but it can also help us solve our problems. So there's nothing wrong with love, it's just that you really got to think about how to put food on the table and how to exist as well, and that probably comes first. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, this is simply a time without so many planets in fire signs the way there were earlier in the year, when you may sort of feel like bolting by taking off and going in a new direction, or going back to somewhere or to something that you used to do. And the reason why is that powerful Pluto in Capricorn is squaring your Sun where Uranus is, and Uranus is a planet of rebellion and of sudden change. And also the Sun and Mercury are in Libra are opposing that Uranus as well. And the Sun and Mercury are wonderfully aspected right now. Remember, they're trine by the Moon in Aquarius. So you may just decide that you don't like the dictates of somebody who's in a position of power and you sort of want to go your own way. And I think you should. In fact, my advice to you, Aries, is if you are going to make a new start or you're going to start over somewhere else, try to do that before Christmas. In other words, try to get to wherever you're going next before Christmas so that you can be settled in over the holidays and really start the new year off fresh. So I wish you the best of luck. You could be traveling quite a distance, Aries. It may not be that you're starting over here. Maybe it'll be somewhere else. But your sign rules new starts, and that is certainly a way to go ahead and sort of feel revived and a little bit more your own boss, which would be what you like anyway. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, that moon in Aquarius does square your sun, and so that means that somebody, perhaps a woman, since the moon rules women, has quite a bit of vision and probably is going to get a green light on some future plan right now. And it may or may not include you, but the spotlight will be on them. This may not bother you at all, Taurus, because after all, remember I said practical necessity is probably going to dictate the terms of a partnership or some sort of deal right now. And that is music to your ears, Taurus, because yours is a very practical earth sign. And there are 4 planets trining your sun sign right now. Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun, which means management does like the way you operate. And Venus, your own ruler, Jupiter and Mars in Virgo are also trining your sun. So I think that your work or your career should be the focus of what you're doing right now, Taurus, because I think you have an opportunity to do something really well right now and something that can help you with your long-term security. So I don't think you should care who else is in the spotlight right now, as long as your own security is going to be enhanced, and I think it will be. So what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, remember I said your ruler, Mercury, along with the sun in Libra, are trining your sun, and that moon in Aquarius today is also trining your sun. So the lights are headed your way, giving you a lot of inspiration. You certainly could get some good news about a legal matter, or you could be hearing from someone who would be a very nice partner, and you should consider them, Gemini. Also, if you're planning for your future, I think your plans are going to go pretty well right now, which is great. They'll go even better, though, if you are really clear about your facts and your details, and that could be a little difficult for you, Gemini, because Venus, Jupiter and Mars in Virgo are squaring your sun, and that sign rules details. So you're going to have to dig for the facts right now and really check them twice and make sure you've got all the facts straight and that they do add up to something that you can communicate in a clear way to others so that you can make a good deal. And Neptune in Pisces is squaring your sun, which means people are not telling you everything, so you're also, once again, going to have to dig for the facts and try to get a second opinion on things, because if they sound too good to be true, that means they're not true. And then Saturn in Sagittarius is opposing your sun, which means that people can doubt you right now. So you may have to work a little extra hard in the next 2 years to prove yourself, Gemini. But the lights are with you right now. So if I were you, I'd go get out and try to find new deals or new partners or some way to plan for your future, because I think you'll be successful at that. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when, remember yours is a cardinal sign, and there are 4 planets in the cardinal signs all harshly squaring and opposing each other. So you may not exactly like the results of a power play right now, Cancer, and that is because Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun, so somebody could suddenly take off, and that could create a little volatility or sudden change in your life. And the Sun and Mercury in Libra are also squaring your sun, which means and they are well fortified by the moon in Aquarius. So somebody else could have some partnership ideas for their future that may not include you, or there can be some legal deal that favors someone else a little more than it favors you. And then Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun sign, and that planet is very powerful right now, and so I think there will be a power play made. It may not be exactly made against you, Cancer, but on the other hand, I think that the fallout from some sort of power play will not please you. And so, you know, even if it is something that doesn't exactly jar you, it wouldn't be on terms that you would like anyway. And yet, will you be hurt by that? I don't think so, Cancer. And the reason why is that if there was a change in your life, if you were going from, say, full-time work to part-time or temporary work, I don't think that you'll be too hurt financially. And the reason why is I think you've already got some financial resources. And also, I think you'd rather be working on a dream than doing what you're doing. So if there is a change in your life due to budget constraints or changes in policies made by powerful people, if it should affect you, I don't think that it will necessarily be for the worse. In fact, it could free you up to do what you really would rather be doing instead. So you could look at it as a positive outcome, even if there is a change. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, there certainly are not as many planets in your sign. In fact, there aren't any planets in your sign right now, Leo, but there sure are a lot of them ahead of your sign, and that means you're about to be very busy. Because that moon in Aquarius is opposing your sun sign, which means the spotlight is on somebody else right now. It could be a woman, but it's definitely somebody else and not you. That could be a big change for you, Leo, because you've had the spotlight on yourself and rather good fortune for the last year while Jupiter was in your sign. But now it's on someone else who does have some pretty good ideas and a plan for the future. And you could have a good plan for the future too, and it may involve partnership or some sort of business or legal dealings. And that is because there are 5 planets right ahead of your sun sign. Venus is conjuncting Jupiter. Remember, that's a marriage tie. And Jupiter is conjuncting Mars, and all 3 of them are right ahead of your sign in Virgo, which is an indication that you just have to get all of the details together, Leo. You have to get your facts straightened out, or you have to do your paperwork right now, or you have to get something really well lined up that can prepare you for a better future. So you've got a little homework ahead of you first, Leo. And then Mercury and the Sun are ahead of the planets in Virgo, and all 5 of these planets sextile your Sun, Leo, and that means there can be some good legal decision or a very nice partner that would like to hook up with you as long as you have your facts all together. So once you get your homework done, Leo, I think there is the possibility that something could really take off that would favorably affect your future, because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius and it is in Aries and trining your Sun. So there is a possibility that something can break open for you, but you have to be better prepared than you are right now, Leo. So you've got to sort of go back to the drawing board first. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you can be extremely busy. And the reason why is that I think that you are either going for more money, or you want to make a good investment, or there can be increased stature that could be coming to you, because I think you've caught the eye of management, Virgo, and I think that they greatly approve of you and your grasp of the facts or details. You probably have a very good track record of work performance already, and you may have already been evaluated on that, and management could be quite pleased with what they have discovered by looking at the facts or the bits and pieces of information that add up over time about you, and they could be making a major decision or power play in your favor, Virgo, and that is because Pluto in Capricorn is trining Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in your own sun sign. Venus and Jupiter together are a marriage tie, and that simply means that since your sign does rule work, you may be getting a promotion, or you may want to hook up with somebody else in your work area, and get some sort of teamwork going together that could be quite profitable. And that is certainly possible. So there are future plans for you that can be very appealing right now, Virgo. You just have to try not to worry too much and not work too hard right now. People want you to work smarter, but not necessarily harder. However, Mars is in your sun, so you can be worried about everything. And you've got to just calm down right now, Virgo, because I think everything's going to be working out real well for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is simply a time with the Sun and Mercury in your sign when it is you that can communicate very clearly, and particularly as long as you've got the facts and you have looked things over and you've got all the details of something that has to do with your health or your job prospects or your work life. As long as you've got the proof of your work record, you could be planning for a very nice future. It could be sort of creative. And the reason why is that all of the air signs are conceptual. They're really good thinkers, or they can take a concept and really run with it and work with it. And so Libra, you could come up with some pretty good ideas right now. You have to have your basic facts first and then combine them with your ideas and then communicate them very clearly to people who have vision. And that's because Aquarius rules people ahead of their time who have vision, and the moon is there trining the Sun and Mercury in your own sign. So this is just an absolutely excellent time for you to get out and communicate and talk with people, sort of mix and mingle. And you could learn a lot from people, but you could also let them know what you're thinking, and it would have a favorable effect on your future, Libra. So don't stay home, get out among them right now, because you have no idea what could be waiting for you, but it could be pretty good. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with that moon in Aquarius that somebody else has the spotlight on them, and I don't even think you're going to notice that, Scorpio. And the reason why is that there are 5 planets right behind your sun sign. The Sun and Mercury in Libra are right behind your sun sign, which means there's a lot of light in the background of your life, Scorpio, and people can see that you're partnership oriented and that you are peace loving, and also that you're probably a pretty good communicator and a good deal maker, which is fine. There could also be some sort of legal settlement or decision that either you have been working on or that represents good news to you in the background of your life. And behind those planets in Libra are 3 more, and they are Venus, Jupiter, and Mars in Virgo. All 5 of these planets do sextile your sun sign, and on the other side, Saturn in Sagittarius and Pluto in Capricorn also sextile your sun sign. So you have a bevy of planets around you right now, Scorpio, and not a lot of opposition. And therefore, I think that you really should go ahead. You probably already have plans for your future, and you should be more committed to them now because you're getting a lot of support. You may not even realize how much support you've got. And there can be some additional money around that either you can invest or that people can invest in you. So this is the time, since your sign rules discipline, when you really need to focus on your own plans, because they will work out thanks to the support of many people around you. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, remember I said that this is a make it or break it time. And it certainly is for you, Sagittarius. And the reason why is that yours is a mutable sign, and there are 5 planets in mutable signs squaring and opposing each other, and there is an element of danger right now in your life, Sagittarius. Remember, Sagittarius rules the whole Middle East, and that is because Venus, Jupiter, and Mars in Virgo are squaring your sun sign where you have Saturn, and Mars squaring Saturn is an aspect of extreme danger. And that is why you can be in danger from what? Well, Neptune in Pisces is also squaring your sun and squaring Saturn. You could be in danger from kidding yourself, Sagittarius, about something that you just don't want to look at or admit. But you've got to really face the hidden truth about something. Neptune in Pisces can rule things that are hidden. And you have absolutely got to face something that you have been kidding yourself about, or that is completely hidden. Or if you are suspecting that someone is not telling you the truth, believe me, you'd be 100% right about that right now. And you need to investigate matters more closely and really look at the details. Uranus in Aries is the only planet trining your sun, and it is retrograde, and it's in a T-cross too, so it's not much help to you, and that is why it's a make it or break it time for you right now, Sagittarius, and you have got to sort of quit stalling and face whatever unpleasant thing you have around you and try to deal with it if you can. And if you don't think you can deal with it, then you have got to form a coalition of partners. Remember, the planets in Libra sextile your sun. As long as you can communicate clearly to others, you can draw partners to you, and that can help with problem solving. And I think you need some help right now, Sagittarius, so I hope you reach out. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think it might be you that is able to make a power play right now, or else you may have already done that. And the reason why is that you are a person that would have a lot of facts at your disposal, and you like going over details and not skipping steps. And that is because Venus, Jupiter, and Mars in Virgo are all trining your sun sign where Pluto is. And so somehow, Capricorn, I think that you are involved in something that has to do with fundraising in one way or another. It can be that there have to be budget cuts, but there also can be money around for modest proposals that can make additional profit. And you may be involved in that in one way or another. Nothing too fancy, but something that, if it works out, could turn out to be quite profitable over time. So you really do need to pay attention to the facts and to your own health, which can be improving right now, particularly if you keep working on it. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is simply a time with the moon in your sign that there can be a lot of light on you, Aquarius. And with the sun and Mercury in Libra also trining the moon in your sign, it simply means that there is the possibility that you can be planning for your future, and you may be picking up a pretty nice partner to help you with that. So even if something is part-time, it can be good news for you, Aquarius, and you really should take on something temporary or part-time right now and sort of try it out. You could really end up loving it, and if you really like it, it probably could blossom into something even more. And so this is a time of expansion for you, Aquarius, so I hope you give that a try and just try anything out, because I think that as long as you're talking to other people that are able to communicate clearly, the legal details will work out all right for you. It'll be okay. You just have to work well with others right now, and I think you're really going to be able to do that, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is simply a time when once again, you're going to have to work really hard, because there are so many planets in mutable signs, and that's what your sign is. And so Mars, Venus, and Jupiter in Virgo are opposing Neptune in your own sun sign, and Saturn in Sagittarius is squaring it. And that simply means that you have to be very, very careful to work hard to gain the approval of people who are older and wiser than you, and probably better educated than you are, Pisces. So I think you're going to have to take orders or directions from people that are going to test you over and over again to make sure that you really know what you're talking about. So, okay, you'll have to do your homework. It's going to be a rough 2 years of working very hard to prove yourself and to come up with a lot of facts and figures. But if you do that, you will be richly rewarded in 2 years as well, when Jupiter comes into Scorpio and trines your sun. So for right now, you've really got to keep your nose to the grindstone and work hard, Pisces. There's just no way out of it, because it's a make it or break it time, and you have got to make it. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.